Season 53, war number 10, and we're up against DD13. This time my team will be Omega Sentinel, Werewolf by Night, and Professor X. I will be taking Path 6 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, then an Onslaught, Toad, Enchantress, as well as a Bishop mini-boss, along with that dust boss there, using Omega Sentinel. So, this video is gonna be very full of Professor X Special 3 animations. Just a word of advice, if flashing screens is something you are sensitive to, I would not recommend watching these fights. Now, starting off here, we have an Warlock on the spiked armor and combat deja vu prowess nodes, and I will be taking the fight with Professor X. Since this matchup doesn't really, or this defender doesn't really do too much, it's just a normal Adam, I would say. The nodes don't really add too much, and Adam by himself is not too big of a deal to deal with. Plan is to just use this fight to ramp up Professor X a little bit, just get to a special 3 with 100 channeling charges, and then with the mutant power back boosts, the fight is essentially over. All that is left is just spamming the special 3s until the defender is dead. I have done my best to make these somewhat bearable to watch by speeding up the special 3 animations. I am not cutting straight through them because I still want to have the full fights in case something happens. Overall though, you're gonna be seeing a lot of this throughout this whole war video. Now, I do have the Omega Sentinel synergy here as well, which allows Professor X and Omega Sentinel both to... Actually, now that I think about it, I don't remember what it does for Omega Sentinel. But for Professor X, he gains 2 charges, 2 persistent charges for every fight he wins. So instead of only gaining 1 there, he is now at 3. Now, next up we have a Kushala on the critical setup and aggression prowess nodes. She's a tactic defender, but I figured she should be easy enough to deal with using Professor X for a full ramp up, so that's what I'm doing here. Now, as you saw there, I slowed it down a bit. I'm pretty sure I was blocking when she threw that medium, but apparently I wasn't, and I ended up eating a combo right off the bat, and now the fight has gone from doable to scary very quickly. Now, at this point I am at my special 3, but I can't just start spamming them yet. I need to be at 100 channeling charges as well, so a couple more heavy whiffs and heavies in general, get to that 100 charges, and now at this point I can safely say that the fight is done. But that was a very scary start, and I have no clue how I got hit at the start. I might have tried to parry and then let go of block right as the hit connected. I can't say for sure, but that was quite a surprise while taking the fight, and well, looking back at the video, I just don't see myself dropping the block at all. And Kushala here doesn't have anything to do with unblockable, so I don't know, you tell me. Did I do something wrong, or is the game being against me, as it tends to be? Either way, as you can also see, it's only less than 40 minutes left in the war. I had some stuff and things to do, so it ended up getting delayed, and I'm kinda rushing for these fights, which is never a good thing. But yeah, we'll see if that has any effect in how I take these. Here we have a thing on the Never Back Down node, and I'm taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. He is simple enough to deal with, just manage the rock stacks manually by, well, looking at them under his health bar, baiting specials whenever he has 15, and then just repeating that until the fight is done. As usual with Omega Sentinel, I am saving up the special 3 for the Incinerate debuffs, and then once I get there, the fight is more or less done. Just gotta dance around for a bit and let the Incinerates do their work. The heal block here allows me to, well, ignore all the healing from the Never Back Down node, which is essentially the only real threat here in terms of the nodes. Due to things unblockable specials, you do need to dex them, and yeah, by doing so he would gain the Never Back Down regen, which would be an issue, so this is to combat that. Now I made a mistake here by mismanaging my combo hits there, and now I have him at 15 charges without a special ready. So to deal with the issue, I'm just landing some parries, managing my combo hits to leave him at exactly 15 as I push him to that special one. In the process I ended up dropping the incinerates, but he was low enough that I could finish out the fight relatively quickly by simply throwing some basic attacks. Overall, not a clean fight by any means, could have been a lot better, but even though I made a mistake, I did manage to close it out without a disaster at the very least. Then we have a Havok on the buffet overtime and Arco reload nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Omega Sentinel. I believe I've taken this fight at least once earlier this season, probably even more than that, and the game plan here is the same as usual with Omega Sentinel, basically taking any fight. Heal block up to deal with the tactic, as well as the regen from the Arco reload node here, and then special 3 for the plasma debuffs, and that's about it. This Havok luckily is a 6 star, so he's not gonna be all that tanky. 30 seconds in, he's below 50%, so I wouldn't even need to do or use any specials here, but I will be doing so. The special 3 is risky to use against Havok, because if you do get clipped even by accident, the auto block is gonna consume your armor ups, which then means you're gonna be taking all the plasma detonation from the plasma debuffs, ramping him up, and that's a very quick way to die. So if you're using specials, you gotta be careful of that. I know I've said it plenty of times, basically whenever I fight a Havok in war, but it just needs to be drilled into everyone's heads, because I still see people dying from it. And then we have the Onslaught here on the Power Snack and 1-2 minutes mini-boss node. I will be taking this fight with Werewolf by night. Werewolf seems to be my go-to option for Onslaught on basically any node, and this one's not all that different. There is gonna be the issue of Power Snack. Werewolf cannot shut that down with his kit at the very least, so I'm gonna be having to deal with that. Gotta be a bit more specials than usual, but overall it's just a normal Werewolf fight. Let the Ruptures do the work even through the block, use the Howling to get to your special 2 without needing to land too many hits, and then once you're at the special 2, preferably with the Curse active, just drop it for some massive damage and repeat if necessary. Now, this I believe is the only Werewolf by night fight of this war, which is why I went ahead and used the Recon Masteries here as well. Didn't bother changing the Masteries, and I am on a bit of a time crunch here, as you saw, so getting the fight done faster is definitely the way to go here. I'm not gonna be needing to use any potions for this guy, and that's nice and all, but even if I did, I probably would have chosen to do this regardless. It costs units, and as you can see, removing the Recon Masteries is not necessary to take the fight down. In fact, I do think it is faster with them. If this fight had a ton of buffs, like say the Conflictor miniboss node with Combat Issue Prowess, then having the MD set up on would probably be the faster way to go. The fight goes down, no issues there, just a normal Wolf against Onslaught fight. I did accidentally push him to special 2 once in the fight, which was a bit scary, but I'm fairly confident in being able to fully dex it, which I did, and all is well. Then we have a Toad, for some reason, on the Burden of Might and High Energy Diet miniboss node, and I'm gonna be taking this fight with Omega Sentinel. Now, Omega Sentinel, her plasma debuffs, as well as the incinerates, are energy damage, so generally speaking they wouldn't do anything for this node. However, she doesn't need them to be able to do these fights. I have the heal block up once again to deal with defense tactic mostly, and, well, I do recall Omega Sentinel having a energy-based second medium. I could be wrong on that though. But regardless, just having the heal block on here deals with basically all the problems. Now there is gonna be the Burden of Might power draining me, so I'm not gonna be getting any special regardless, but even if I did, the plasmas themselves wouldn't do too much, and this fight is essentially just Omega Sentinel punching the opponent until they drop. one thing I gotta watch out for here are those paralytic poison debuffs. While Omega Sentinel does not take any damage from them, there is a stun mechanic Toad has that I can't remember exactly if it only works against stun immune or poison immunes, or if he could also stun non-poison immunes if he reaches, or if the attacker here reaches 10 of the poison stacks. If I recall correctly, getting to 10 of them will stun me, so I'm doing my best to shrug them off by dashing around whenever possible and just keeping an eye on them so they don't get out of hand. I probably should have double checked this before recording this video, but I'm sure someone in the comments will be able to correct me there if I'm wrong. Regardless, that is how I played the fight, or that was the plan in mind anyways. Fight went down, finished it with essentially full health, and now we are onto the scary fights, I would say. Here we have an Enchantress on the Hazard Sheet Poison and Incinerate node along with stun immunity, and I'm taking the fight with Professor X. Now, Enchantress is a tactic champion, and Professor X does not shut down the Hazard Sheet node in any way. So yeah, I just gotta rush to that special 3, preferably without Enchantress here using any specials, but that's easier said than done, and here she goes, first special 1, I gotta deal with the spells, I need to beta heavy, punish that, now I still gotta knock her down as well as land an intercept. She was nice enough to let me do that without any bigger problems, so now the spells are down, but I'm down to around 50% myself. Still not at 100 charges. I am at my special 3 though, so at this point I just gotta spam those heavies, use the falter to my advantage to be able to spam them safely. And now I need an intercept to be able to remove the last bit of spells that she has on. Otherwise the damage is gonna be barely there. And there, just barely managed to get the intercept off before she got to another bar of power, and now the fight is over. She will not be able to do anything more in the fight. I will be able to close it out with the special 3 spam, and yeah, that got very scary. I'm not a big fan of taking this matchup, but I believe I'm the only Professor X in the BG, and the other counters that there usually would be for this matchup, they were banned, so this is kind of what we had to do. Overall I don't mind it, but I do find Professor X fights very boring, and you can probably see why. The constant special 3 spam, it's just not a very interesting way to fight, but it is very effective, and well, I guess someone's gotta do it, so might as well be me, so other people don't have to rank him up, and which would be unnecessary, because, well, you only really need one of them in the BG, generally speaking anyways. Then we have a bishop on the Conflictor miniboss node along with combat actual prowess, and I'm taking this fight with Professor X. I have the White Magneto pre-fight active, so I can safely parry stun here without Conflictor eating it, and the plan is once again to just get the special 3 and the fight is done. The only thing Bishop can do here to screw me up is throw a random special while I'm holding block for no reason, and that would be horrible. But as long as I can full dex the special 2 in this case, everything is fine. But yeah, it's not happening. Now I will point out there, I am at 99 channeling charges, not 100. So this special 3 will still consume the normal amount of power, meaning I can't just spam them. I have the Incinerate on, I'm melting, I gotta get some hits in, special in, get that last channeling charge, and it's not enough. I end up melting to the Incinerate, and that was just honestly horrible timing. And this is what I mean when I say the game hates me. Now, if I had been at 100 channeling charges when I ate that special 2, I would have been fine. Because then I could have spammed special 3, the Incinerate would not have been able to tick me down, and I would have won the fight. That didn't happen though, I ended up at 99 exactly. he could have not thrown the special 2, which he shouldn't have since I was clearly holding my block, but he did. And then finally if I fully dexed it I would have been fine as well, but apparently I can't, and yeah, it's a problem. Going back in, he starts with close to 2 bars of power. This time I managed to dex it just fine, and now I just gotta get to special 3 again without him, well, screwing me over once again, but we'll see if I can do that properly this time around. One more thing I would like to point out in the previous attempt is when I used my special 3, I tried to heavy charge into it to get the final charge, but I just couldn't hold it long enough. If I tried to hold my heavy for 1 or half a second, I would have been dead from the incinerate before getting the special 3 off, and the result would have been the same. So I tried everything I possibly could at that point to get it done, but I just couldn't. There was nothing I could do at that point. Anyways, at the very least, I only died once to this fight. Now the rest is simple enough. Special 3 spam. That's all this fight is gonna be at this point. And honestly it sucks, but I mean, what can I say? I couldn't dex the special 2, so I deserve to die there, I guess. The opponent using specials into your block is never an impossibility, I would say. It's always a chance, it's always there. You just gotta deal with it once it happens. And clearly I didn't. Anyways, next up we have the final fight of the war, a dust boss that I am taking with Omega Sentinel. I have Odin pre-fights here, namely the Aptitude. I have War Machine pre-fight here, the Skirmish one, giving me increased debuff duration, I believe. And then I have the White Magneto pre-fight here as well for increased damage. That's about it. Plan is to keep the heal block up constantly throughout the fight, to have the defense tactic in check, finish combos with light attacks to keep it paused, and if it is about to fall off, just reapply a new one with a double medium, and that's about all there is to it. Once I get to the special 3, I will have the damage I need to take the fight down relatively quickly, and well, here we go. One thing to watch out for are the sand debuffs. I don't wanna get 4 of them active at once, otherwise she's gonna enter the sandstorm, and that's gonna be a lot of damage that I don't wanna deal with. So the plan is to not get 4 sand debuffs by, well, just dancing around and dexing for a bit if necessary, if I have like 2 or 3 of them on me, and that's about it, honestly. At this point the fight is essentially over. I have managed to keep up all the debuffs properly, I have them paused. To speed things up a bit more, I will go for a special 2 here, get some more plasma debuffs on, and then back to light ending combos, and honestly this fight has gone about as well as it could have. And there I got close to triggering the sandstorm by hitting Dust's block and glancing. Luckily it was only the 3rd sand debuff, but that meant I had to back off for a bit and let them expire before, well, doing anything else. Fight goes down, and at the very least I didn't die to any of the other fights other than the bishop that I wasn't even really worried about at the start, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Nothing you can really do about it except learn to dex the damn special, I guess. As for the results though, we did end up winning the war 11-7. So luckily my death this time did not cost us the war, so at the very least I am thankful for that.